At Special Duties Wing, Government House, Makudi. Form cost 5,000 naira only.
Stage 1 screening begins on the 6th of July 2024. Great prizes await you.
The first prize, 1 million naira. Second prize, 500,000 naira. And third prize, 300,000 naira. All prizes are inclusive of cash and fashion tools. Also, consolation prizes and gift items.
For sponsorship, partnership and inquiries, please call Benue TV Marketing on 0906 188 9838 or 0703 794 5569.
Benue Fashion Show,
embracing fusion fashion.
Welcome back to the program. This is Daybreak Benue on Benue Television, and let's take a look at what is happening between the labor unions and, of course, the federal government. As at yesterday, being the 26th of the month of June, that was supposed to be an emergency meeting between labor and, of course, the federal government. We are yet to get the outcome of that meeting. But basically, we are made to understand that Labour will hold an emergency meeting on Wednesday morning. That was just yesterday, yes. And the decision of the federal government and, of course, the Labour unions was supposed to have been considered so that we have something to take home. Now, the people are getting tired when we have this back and forth between. You can't have negotiation for a national minimum wage getting to up to a year.
It's all more than a year.
This is bad. This is truly bad. It means there is no clear-cut agenda for the nation, because if you know what you intend to prepare, just like a father and a mother knows exactly what to prepare for the children to eat, and you know exactly what you feed them with and they will be comfortable with, you don't need too much stress to be able to do that. Yes, you don't have to make it look as if one is to be blamed and this other person. This is bad. I want to say very clearly that people are already tired of hearing about labor is sitting. Approximately, if they tell you how much
money has been spent for those
on these sittings for negotiation, it's amounting to a huge sum that would have been used to construct a gigantic project for the Nigerian population.
You know what I find bothersome about this conversation, this whole labor conversation, labor, minimum wage in the federal government? What I find bothersome is the fact that, like you said, the negotiations have gone on for more than a year, and up to now there's no clear-cut agenda as to whether the government is going to implement a new minimum wage or not.
Yeah. And
not only that, it is not even showing any sign of seriousness in like calling labor to that round table. Let's sit down and really discuss what should be like a compromise between your side and my side.
Yes.
Rather, the government through its special advisor special advisor on media and strategic commission. I beg your pardon, communication.
Yes.
By Orlando guys, trying to ramp up political sentiments in the sense that this whole fight for the minimum wage is an agenda by the Labour Party. For crying out loud, you know very well that when we came on board, your government actually did admit that yes, when it came on board, it met a lot of challenges. But this still saying your government is now increasing those number of challenges with the floating of the naira and the the removal of US subsidy at the same time.
Yes.
And then you are not trying to.
You're not talking about electricity tariff.
Exactly, electricity tariff, and then people are buying fuel at astronomical sums at the moment, and everything is just skyrocketing, and you are still using these political sentiments to ramp up views that you shouldn't be. For me, like I said, what I find bothersome is the fact that the government is absolutely careless about this conversation. That is the body language I'm reading.
Now, there is another part that you need to take a look at. the smaller things that would have been making things easy are the things we are withholding. Wage award for 3 months was to be given to workers. I think only 1 month was given to
Only
the federal
1 month,
workers.
yeah, only 1
I've
month.
never heard of any state receiving wage award.
Only at the
Now,
federal level,
these
just
are some
once.
of the measures that were, according to Mr. President, were meant to cushion the effect.
Don't forget the provision of our CNG buses as well.
Good. And now, even if the CNG buses will arrive, or if they have arrived already, I want to let you know that before the common person in the society will access one, it's going to take a very long time. Because I know how much the National Assembly will need, and they will fight over it. I know how much members of the Executive Council will want to have theirs.
House of Reps.
House of Rep are there, and so many other persons that are into the parastatals that we have at the federal level. Before the subnationals will begin to think about having, maybe subnationals will only use a fairly use or Belgian CNG
If they get at all.
if they get
If
at
they
all.
get at all. That's
So,
all the
so
grammar.
what Nigerians need at the moment is sincerity of purpose. Let us be sincere in dealing with the citizens. One thing I want, we always want the members of the Federal Executive Cabinet to know, the members of the National Assembly to know, is that if you are being sincere with the public, they will know. They sent you there. And sometimes what they forget is that our eyes are on them. But they forget and think they have become demigods.
I wouldn't.
You sit on the floor of the National Assembly for up to 3 months without saying anything that will affect positively your
Your
constituents. It means you have no business
at
being
all,
there.
at all.
So it's a matter of being deliberate and intentional about why you are there at the National Assembly. Are you representing somebody? Are you, cautious of the fact that you were, elected by some
and sent
people
by your people's
to
mandates,
be there?
Yes.
And are you also being mindful of the fact that your tenure has a limit? There is a limit to which you will go. At a point, whether you like it or not, you have to come back home and pave the way for another person. And the bad one is that our people have this attitude of forgetting easily. You mistreat them, you come back to them, you sweet tongue, you say the kind of things that they want to hear,
Yes,
and they have forgotten the
it now
past.
goes back to business as usual.
Yeah. So when are we going to begin to have business in governance as unusual and not as usual? Yeah.
And I want to add on, today is Thursday, right? On Tuesday I was closing from work, and when I got home there was this conversation that my neighbors were having, just like you said.
Yeah.
Nigerians have their eyes on their leaders, and everybody can tell if they are being sincere or not, because at this moment what Nigerians see to a large extent is a huge display of insincerity on the part of our leaders. And if you follow the conversations of everyday Nigerians about the situation of the country, the bottom line, and I don't want to say that I am succumbing to this, but everybody keeps pointing out, giving that example of Ghana, where Jerry Rawlings had to come and clear out a number of certain people just to give the country a good head start.
Yes.
So everybody just keeps recommending that, and then you hear talks of revolution. It tells you that a lot of people are very, very angry, and even if you want to laugh it over, you'll be like, but that is not what we are advocating for, and that is not where we are heading to. But it tells you that there's a lot of palpable tension, that any little thing could ignite the people, and then we are not calling for that anyway, but our leaders should be mindful of the fact that a hungry man is definitely an angry man. And with the fact that food is largely inaccessible to most of Nigerians at the moment now, tells you that we've never had it this bad. Yes, we've been having it bad, but we've not had it this bad in Nigeria.
Yes. And let me tell you something. The truth of the matter is that when people agitate, when people advocate that there should be a revolution, I don't look at it, because the reason why I don't see a revolution being possible in Nigeria is first the fact that we are multi-ethnic. When you start discussing a matter, it has gone viral.
Yeah.
People who can revolutionize are people who are one in the same spirit of patriotism. These are people who, I want to let you know that they are divided along ethnic, religious, and tribal sentiments. And this is the singular reason why we are not being able to forge ahead in our quest to become a better country. So, and apart from that, a revolution in Nigeria would rather even affect the innocent people. So I don't even look at it as something that is feasible, and I don't even want it, because if it comes, I want to let you know that it is the innocent people that will sacrifice their lives.
Definitely.
And the people you think are the bad ones will still continue to live.
And
so for that reason, as for me, I will never advocate for
I agree with
a
you, Japheth,
revolution.
on that.
Yes.
And no, a revolution is definitely not what I'd recommend.
Yes.
You know, what strikes me when I keep hearing these conversations going on, I also want to say, frankly speaking, that even we ourselves as citizens, we are helping the leaders to actually destroy this country. Let me tell you why. The little things that we do, on the average, a Nigerian treating a fellow Nigerian is something that you don't want to see. We are practically inhuman to ourselves. You go to the market, someone bought something at old price before the so-called, dollar, phenomenon now came on board, and the person knows very well that this is old stock. Sell it at the old price at which you bought it. No way. He is going to inflate the price by triple or even quadruple.
Yes.
Just to make what? A transient gain.
Yes.
And this cycle keeps going on, and going on. Now, let's take away from the market the way we treat each other. Do we treat each other as if we are human beings, or we're even brothers? Let's not even go as far as thinking of human beings. Do we treat each other as brothers? No. Every time we are always divided, and we keep on perpetuating these divisive lines all the time.
Yes.
In the name of, I want to make sure that what is mine, and what is yours, if I can take it, it also becomes mine. Let me take everything and leave you practically stranded.
And so that those are the numerous problems that we have here in Nigeria. And until we begin to, you see, from the beginning I was like, the new national anthem is not what it's supposed to be.
As far as I'm concerned, that's asinine.
Yes, but when you look at the text of the new old national anthem, you will realize that there is a portion of it that really would interest or strike the mind of everyone. Though tribe and tongue may differ, that's the greatest part of that anthem. Are we living up to that? We are very, very conscious 100% of the fact that I am from this part and he is from this part. I watched one of the veteran movie actors, Kanayo or Kanayo. He made a statement, and I said, when are we going to stop this? Kanayo or Kanayo made a statement and simply said, the day an Igbo man is made the president of this country, we'll begin to know the value of what we have as a country.
Yeah.
And now I was beginning to ask myself, yes, I am one of the persons who have always advocated that I don't want marginalization. The Eastern people too are due for the presidency. They deserve a chance. Even in Benue, most of the times I say here that when will an Igede man become the governor of the state? When will an Idoma man become the governor of the state? Or an Idoma woman?
Yeah.
Even at that, we should stop saying that Idoma man and Igede man. When will an Idoma or Igede person, because it could be a woman or it could be a man.
Yes.
We are not being conscious of these things. We cry foul that we are being marginalized at that level. But here we are still doing the same thing. So when you take a look at all of these things, you will understand that truly we are the ones that are causing that great disservice to ourselves. Until we are honest to tell ourselves the truth, we cannot make any significant change.
I agree with you, Japheth.
Yes.
You bringing up this issue, I wanted to share a video today, but because of copyright issues, I couldn't do that. But I watched a video on Facebook yesterday. There was a young girl. She lives in the United States, I think in the city of Texas or Ohio. I'm not really certain. She's of Tiv extraction, and she was saying some proverbs in Tiv, like very, 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 very fast.
Yes.
So they're saying it slowly, very, very fast, and then it was shared on Facebook, on Tiv, by an Idoma person.
Yes,
I
saw that. Yes.
And then there were a lot of comments. Anytime I see such videos, I like to go to the comment section.
Yes.
And when I went to the comment section, I saw a lot of things that a lot of Benue sons were saying. And one particular one that struck me by somebody over there was that if only thief people were going to treat Idoma people the way an Idoma person shared the video of that thief girl on Facebook,
Yes.
we won't be having a kind of problem we
Yes.
have in Benue
And
State.
if only the Edomas will consistently treat the
the
thief people or the Igede people in that
Exactly,
manner,
in that same way.
well,
And
we
I
will
was
have a
like,
better state.
You see where we are coming
Yes.
from.
So that's the whole thing. There is no in the grave. The grave doesn't recognize tribe,
Doesn't distinguish between tribe,
and
religion, all of that.
and
We're all
God
human
Himself
beings.
is not going to judge us by our tribes or by our ethnic differences.
Affiliations at
I
all.
keep telling the people that even the Christ that we follow with so much reverence, no one can identify where Christ fellowship. There is no church that you can tie to Jesus. There is no particular place of worship that you can tie to Prophet Muhammad. These were people who were selfless. They were about the people. And that is why we remember them today. It's because they stood for the people and not because they stood for particular persons. It is our own feeling that we have decided to make these segregations. We differentiate this. We say this is for this and this is for that. When we come back together as a people, as Nigeria and as Nigerians, regardless of where we are coming from, we are definitely going to have a better country in less than 1 year.
Yeah, even though I not want to start that conversation about our Lord Jesus Christ, let me say that what you are saying is actually true.
Yes.
In the sense that, let me bring it down to home. When it comes to Nigeria, you see, even the way we do things at the subnationals and the national. Let me give you an example. We are indigenous, or let me say I'm an indigenous of Benue State. Probably I leave Benue State and decide to go and leave, not decide, or something takes me to another place outside Benue State. Let's say for instance Kano State, and I need to do something. The fact that I've lived in Kano and I'm doing my legitimate business, paying my taxes, doesn't count. Yes, because when I want to get something that ordinarily should be my right, ipso facto by the fact that I am, a Nigerian citizen, duly doing what I should be doing responsibly, the state will now bring up its own agenda of trying to, segregate me and keep me in the box. Why? It will ask me where I'm from.
Yes.
My local government, down to the ward, and even council. It doesn't matter the fact that I have lived in a particular state for this long and I am doing exactly what I should do as a responsible citizen. So I think there was a time that a conversation was being, brought up about this fact of trying to remove this emphasis on state of origin for Nigerians, because we do not need that. Already we know very well that Nigeria is a country that has multiple ethnic groups, but we do not need the fact that the government is emphasizing that we come from different states. The fact that we're Nigerians should be enough. So whether we like it or not, the fact that the government, is positively or negatively promoting the idea of dividing, or let me not say the idea, the divisiveness that we are experiencing, we ourselves are also contributing to it, because you see the way we interact with each other. The thief man is naturally suspicious of the Idoma man, the Idoma man is naturally suspicious of the Igede man, the Igede man is naturally suspicious of the thief man. The thief man doesn't really like to say anything good about the Igbo person. You see, I'm just giving generalizations, I'm not saying that this is what is going on, but this natural and mutual suspicion that we have about ourselves would, well, unfortunately, is something that our leaders like to use under the toga of the divide and rule syndrome. And whether we like it or not, that's what our leaders do.
And let me tell you something. Just before we say goodbye on this segment, I'd like to let you know this in very clear terms. We are aware of our problems. The only thing is that we have refused to approach our problems.
Fact.
That is where, until we do that, that's
fact.
just, there is no bigger solution to what we are talking about here, until we identify our problem.
We have identified it, we are not ready. That readiness
and
willingness.
I'm sure that just some have identified the problem.
Trust me, Nigerians are not that shallow.
So until we are able to identify and say this is it and this is enough of it, this is where we're going to continue to remain. And Nigerians know how to solve their problems. And when they're ready, we will to collectively solve the problems. Well, let's go on a break very quickly. We'll be right back to continue with the program. It's the Daybreak Benue on Benue Television. Please stay with us.
Benue Fashion Show Season 3 is here.
It's that time of the year for fashion designers, entrepreneurs, and fashion enthusiasts to shine.
This year, sale of forms for the competition begins from 15th April to 30th June 2024.
Pick a form at Benue Television, located at Special Duties Wing, Government House, Makudi. Form costs 5,000 naira only.
Stage 1 screening begins on the 6th of July 2024. Great prizes await you.
The first prize, 1 million naira. Second prize, 500,000 naira. And third prize, 300,000 naira. All prizes are inclusive of cash and fashion tools. Also, consolation prizes and gift items.
For sponsorship, partnership and inquiries, please call Benue TV Marketing on 0906 188 9838 or 0703 794 5569. Benue Fashion Show, embracing fusion fashion. Benue Fashion Show Season 3 is here.
It's that time of the year for fashion designers, entrepreneurs, and fashion enthusiasts.
To say the least, it is devastating, and we've been experiencing this thing for over 10 to 15 years. The place have been overwhelmed, hot water entering inside the well. There is no good source of public water supply here.
We thought it would not be as heavy as it was. And when I was laying on my bed, the little girl was just stood up and was squeezing with her clothes. I now asked what happened. She now told me that she urinates. When I stood up, I said, you urinate or it's water that entered the house. Before I could open the door, the water pushed me down. I rushed out to check my beds, about 300 beds. Last year, they are just in the incubation period.
We need a good cover that's big. These gutters are very small, you can see it. The gutters are very, very small. We need a big gutter. We need government to come and help us. Every day we don't sleep. Anytime rain is falling, our eyes are just open.
to shine.
This year, sale of forms for the competition begins from 15th April to 30th June 2024.
Pick a form at Benue Television, located at Special Duties Wing, Government House, Makudi. Form costs 5,000 naira only.
Stage 1 screening begins on the 6th of July 2024. Great prizes await you.
The first prize, 1 million naira. Second prize, 500,000 naira. And third prize, 300,000 naira. All prizes are inclusive of cash and fashion tools. Also, consolation prizes and gift items.
For sponsorship, partnership and inquiries, please call Benue TV Marketing on 0906 188 9838 or 0703 794 5569. Benue Fashion Show, embracing fusion fashion.
Welcome back to the program. I hope you're having a great time watching us live on Benue Television. We are very happy indeed that the Honorable Commissioner has finally arrived at the studios of Benue Television and will be taken on him to talk to us about perennial flooding in Benue State. And of course, when we talk about flooding in the state, Makudi seems to be the most affected, town in Benue. And so this time around, Honorable Kunde is the Honorable Commissioner for Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management. It means he's at the helm of affairs saddled with the responsibility of managing disaster here in the state. I'd like to welcome you to the studios of Benue Television once again, Honorable Kunde.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Well, it's very timely because this has begun and you're here available to talk to the Benue people. In that itself is succor to the people. They want to see your face, they want to hear you talk to them and also give them the hope that government is doing something about their plight. Let's begin this way. This is the first flooding you are experiencing in Makudi as the Honorable Commissioner in that Ministry of Humanitarian and Disaster Management. What have you begun doing? Because this is about action. What have you started doing? Because you have seen it. It's no longer news. Yeah. So what have you begun to see that this is mitigated and the people who are affected are also made to feel better?
Well, thank you so much. First of all, let me sympathize and identify with the last week flood victims. And again, let me use this opportunity to digress more from what we are discussing to congratulate His Excellency Reverend Father Dr. Hyson Yomemalia for his 1 year in office, a well-celebrated Democracy Day, and his successful thank you tour to the people of Benue State for having voted him massively in the office. It was worth recommending because when people voted you, they also expect you to come back and tell them what you are doing, and you also get feedback from your people. I think that worth recommending. As I earlier said, I sympathize with the victim of last week flood in Benue State.
Yeah.
We as a government, we are doing everything to prevent occurrence of this disaster that happened last week. First, we have gone out to carry out a need assessment. SEMA is equally directed to assess the level of damages on the food and non-food items of the affected victims. Myself, I have gone out holistically, starting from Boko Road, George's Quarters, down to Api, Welfare Quarters, down to, if you agree with me, we are doing a lot. I am being very vivid on this. His Excellency has directed I should carry out this need assessment to know the problem of this flooding is blocking of drainages and waterways. This is the root cause of this flooding. If you can believe with me, His Excellency went out recently himself to assess the level of drainages in the state headquarters, and he directed Commissioner of Water Resources and Environment to make sure that some of these drainages has been overflowing with sand, that they should clear the sand to pave way for water. That is
so whose responsibility it is to sanitize the channels for water passage?
Is Ministry of Water Resources, Environment and Climate Change, and you can see on the social media and all of that has been going on before this. I bet you are going up taking out measures to stop occurrence of this. My need assessment this evening, I'll be going out for 8 hours of tomorrow with the Commissioner of Works, Housing and Urban Development as directed by His Excellency.
Yes, but have you addressed the Benue people? Because I think apart from now that you're talking on television, one would order, flooding is an emergency issue. So the nature of your office has to deal with emergencies. Were you able to address the Benue people directly, or were you able to interface with the communities where you were carrying out these assessments?
Yeah, SEMA has directed to do that, and SEMA has interfaced with the people. We have done that. I told you earlier that SEMA was on the spot assessment. He deals with, he's charged with the responsibility of emergency response, and that has been done. The interface with the communities has been done, and what we are doing now is critical needs assessment of the destruction.
If I'm very correct, SEMA is under your ministry.
Yes.
Yes, and so you are the boss in your ministry.
Yes.
Now the question is, you dedicated SEMA boss to do this on your behalf, or the question was, have you been able to speak directly to the Benue people, telling them this is the plan you have and this is what you are doing to ensure that their lives are better despite the flooding?
Yeah, that I'm going to do. When I'm going to talk to the people that are affected, they expect a result. What are you going to do for us henceforth? And I can't just stand and start telling them, the government of Reverend Father Hyson Yome Malia don't believe in promises. He believes in action. When they call him, talk and do what he says, he's going to definitely do it. And his directive is that we should find the root cause of this. And that is what I've been doing for the past 3 days. And I told you here that today I will also be going out with Commissioner of Works, Housing and Urban Development, because for now I have identified there are some people that build on the drainages, build on the waterways.
Who gave them those plots to build?
Some of them from my assessment, they don't even have anything to show that either Oban has approved their building or they have a land, they have a silver to occupy those water wells. These are ordinary, some reserved areas for the free flow of water. And you know, ordinary human beings can do anything without knowing that this you are doing is not right. They forget about law at all. Once they see a free land, it is their duty, since they have a plot next to occupy it without any allocation.
Now, Honorable Commissioner, I'd like to chip in here because in as much as, like you said, you're going to be going out with the Honorable Commissioner of Works, Housing and Urban Development very soon. So I'd like to bring to your notice, you may be aware or you may not be, His Excellency Governor Hyacinth Yomemalia, I think in April or probably March or April, when he was going out, you know, taking some a sightseeing, not taking some, doing a sightseeing around Makudi, he did give a directive that there's a building, or let me say a school, close to Benue Links, and it's the fence is sitting direct on the major waterway that should be channeling water from the Wurukum access to the river Benue, and he did give a directive that that fence should be brought down immediately. So I'm going to put this to you, since you are going to be going out with the Honorable Commissioner tomorrow, to also, you know, also make that part of your needs assessment tool, because I think that that directive that the governor made or gave has not been carried out, because that fence is still sitting on that particular waterway that the governor was complaining or did complain about. Now, secondly, you did mention that people are building on waterways. Build on waterways, and they're still building.
Yeah.
Now, doesn't it mean that the Ministry of Works, Housing and Urban Development, together with lands and survey, are being complicit in not making sure that people, you know, follow due process? Because these people don't just build like that. Even if they are going to build like that, it means that money has changed hands. They have gotten some level or some measure of approval from both the Ministry of Lands and Survey and Works and Housing, because these people cannot just go and see a particular land and decide they want to build there, and it's a waterway. So don't you think that there ought to be some more level of compliance from the Ministry of Works and Housing, together with Land and Survey, working in synergy with your office as well?
That is very well. You know that those that build recklessly without minding the existence of law, this is a government of Fadalia is very careful. It's a law-abounding government, and everything has to be followed with due process rules. So that's the order. We have received the order. We'll go now to check. Like I'm saying, we have to follow due process before we start and listen to avoid unnecessary litigations. We first of all cross-check, did Oban issue a building? Has Oban approved any building permit from these people? Has this land been allocated? Is there a C of O? And then the drastic measures we immediately follow with action. Like I'm saying, we have identified quite a number of houses that are on the waterways, blocking the drainages, and also some of these young men washing by the roadside. You know, ordinarily they desire to have a standing water for them to have access to wash vehicles. They also block the drainages. This we are going to also take a measures to move them out of these places, because and then there's also what we're going to do. There are some drainages that are very narrow, and some of them has been overflowing by sand. We need to expand the depthness of these things and then the size. If you can agree with me, look at Watata. If you look at the channels of drainages in what is quite accommodated, that once it rains, within 5 minutes you see the water flows. So if you can see from welfare quarters, mechanic, and down to now behind it was Ostoma before, but now it's Tafflin Station.
Yeah.
If you can see, there is one parish that built on the stream. He built blocking the access, the free flow of water. So each time it rains heavily, the water from mechanic site down to after Kansho, you see that is causing a lot of destruction. More than 10,000 households being destroyed by the water. So if water, you block the free flow of water, they don't say anywhere to go. They push out. Once they come above their level, they find a way. They must flow.
Yes, that. But now the question.
Destruction down to behind Hotel Lucia, down to Ide site. So this also has been marked. I personally have an interface with the man. Where is your location? Where is your building approval from the urban? He didn't have any of this, and the communities there has been suffering because of one man.
What about Tony Mas Plaza at high level? Sorry, yeah. Because just after this, before the state secretariat, there is always that traffic hindrance because Tony Mas Plaza is sitting on. I want to believe there's a waterway there because anytime it rains, there's always a puddle of water. So, like the building I mentioned close to Benue Links that the governor had directed, that I want to get your assurance here now that you're with us that you're also going to do something about that directive.
We've already assessed it and mapped for demolition. We have done all the assessments.
Okay.
It's for just to call Benue, enlighten them and pronounce. But this thing, we can't do it. The government alone can't do all of this.
Yes,
we need individuals to also to come out to support us. At times when you go, these people mobilize thugs within them. Thank God, the government of His Excellency Reverend Father Isaac Elia has passed a law of public order. It must be orderly. Because if you do anything contrary, the law will catch up with you.
Honorable Kunde, there are some questions here that would be wrong if we direct them to you. Otherwise, because we wish you were here with the Honorable Commissioner for Works, Housing and Urban Development, because there are some questions that would better go to him. Otherwise, I would have asked that, how come Ministry of Works are very quick to marking
buildings,
buildings that are being right from the foundation, you see their mark on it, they tell you to stop work. Why are they not seeing such buildings that are causing this problem that you're talking about? It means they are aware when these buildings were constructed, they approved. Yeah. Legally or illegally. Maybe they did some approval.
You see, I'm not commissioner.
And that's why I said it's not for you.
I think I have a preliminary knowledge of these things. You know that urban ordinary, when you don't have approval from urban goes up to stop you from building.
Good.
But you see that is why I'm saying people are being lawless. They go ahead and build. And for urban to demolish you, urban must go to court to obtain a judgment before they will demolish. This thing we are also going to use law, and that is on the pipeline. We are working together with Attorney General to go up. Ordinarily, you have litigation. Even with that, we still have to face them. But the government of Reverend Father Isaac is for the masses, so he's ready that anything he can do for the masses to be free. These are ordinary people living within these vicinities are suffering it. Those people are not at all. They raise their building above the level of this water level.
I think very well. But there is this that you need to attend to very quickly, Honorable Commissioner. Like I said, your ministry is one that is saddled with the responsibility of handling emergencies. It means you don't have your time to sleep. You can be called anytime to respond to issues. And if you accept this, the question is, what have you done so far? Because there are people who are already homeless. What have you done for them? There are people who are without food because of this flooding. What have you done in the interim? Because needs assessment cannot,
I have reached out to people.
Okay.
Face to face, calls, text messages. But I told you, government use rules and procedures.
Yes.
Before we start any any relief materials to these people, we need to know what has been destroyed, the level of the damages, and all of that.
No, so, I'm not talking about compensation for whatever happens. I'm talking about the immediate measures you have. Okay, like for instance, if you are waiting for bureaucracy of the government for like up to like a month, you can't force His Excellency to sign a document. You must lobby him, talk to him to understand what you want to do before he signs. Now, why we are waiting for this process? What have you done to put food on the table of these people who are without food? Because it's the responsibility of the government to give the people food, to give the people housing.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes.
Even at giving people food, say you will know who and who you are going to give food. You will end up taking food to people that don't even belongs to this caliber of people that have been affected with the flood. And that is what I'm telling you. The immediate decision is for us to go out. We spoke to them and we are taking measures that sooner than later we'll have to send them food.
Okay, but if His Excellency directs now that Honorable Kunde, please go ahead and reach out to these people, give them food to eat, give them shelter. Do you have such resources available at your purview to be distributed to the people?
Of course. Government cannot, once His Excellency direct that this should be done, it should be done immediately. But for now, we briefed him. He needs to know the level of damage, who and who is affected. And then I told you, we are doing this, we believe in solution. His Excellency is a solution provider.
So how soon are the people expecting it? Because you're talking to His Excellency, you should have knowledge about how soon, because these are people who cannot be patient.
Yesterday, ESCO, immediately, he has directed that myself and the Commissioner of Works should immediately go out there and report to him on what to do. He don't want any procedures again. And I told you yesterday, I was up and doing, and the only way you can assess the true damages and the spot point, the flash point, is for you to go inside the area, and that has been done to say that this place must be demolished. This is the area.
Talk to us about the quantum of destruction by this flooding. How much have we lost, and what damage exactly, and which specific areas do we have more damage, so that the people get to be aware that these are no-go areas?
Okay, the specific areas that has been partly affected by this flood is Ide. If we move down from B Division to down to you come to Enkersti, Ide, down to behind the GT Bank, and then to Enkersti. That's at the areas that has been there. You go to part of behind Ostoma, former Ostoma house. Then when you come down behind Ostoman, I say we are going to the Navy Barracks.
Yeah.
Those areas, and then Achusa.
Okay.
Achusa is also affected because Achusa is also the drainage from behind mechanic.
How about Radio Benue? Because the other time it was submerged in water.
Wait, when you are talking of down that area out to I area mentioned out to behind Hotel Lucia, and you come down to Achusa. That area is called, is it journalist quarters?
Yes.
All of these places are affected. But let me tell you, my team are in the field doing need assessment.
Okay.
Holistically, it's not.
How long will it take for the needs assessment to be completed?
Today or tomorrow, at most tomorrow, we have the result of those.
Is there proper documentation of all of this?
There's a proper documentation. Household, if you go out, they'll tell you that some teams, the combined teams from the Ministry of Humanitarian and SEMA, are here asking questions. What have you lost? What food items do you have in your house? What are the non-food items that you have? This is ongoing, as directed by His Excellency.
All right.
And I don't want to speculate anything. I want to speak it from the decision that I'm being briefed very well that this is what has happened.
Okay, Honorable Kunde, I think I don't know. pose this question to you. I don't know if you're aware that there was a task force yesterday, I think, constituted, and it's been overseen or being manned by the Commissioner of Works and Housing, a task force on flooding in Makudi. I don't know if you're aware of the task force, and I don't know if you're a member of that task force, because
Very
I think,
well.
okay,
I am.
Okay, now, pursuant to that, I know that the Minister of Water Resources, Professor Joseph Utep, did write to governors warning them that there's going to be a lot of flooding between April and November this year, and mentioned that about 21 states, yes, 21 states, of which Benue is also inclusive, of who are going to be prone to high risk flooding. Now, this is something that the minister had done at the national level. So, coming down to your own office, I'd like to know, or let me say, I'd like to ask, what have you done in terms of, publicizing? Because whether you like it or not, we have residents in Makudi who do not listen, or who do not want to, follow the rules. But it is part of your responsibility as your office to make sure that there's publicized, campaigns to tell people to stop, clogging the drainages with refuse dump. And what are you doing to ensure that when these drainages are clogged, they will be unclogged? And not only that, people who even do that, because sometimes when you're coming out in the morning, you will see that people are even actually coming out from their houses and throwing this refuse into the drainages. So what are you doing to ensure that prosecution is done? Because prosecution is key. If you're able to find out culprits and punish them duly, it will serve as a deterrent. What are you doing?
Yeah. Every measure has been in place to create awareness, advocacies for recklessly dumping of refuse in the water, even the ones at the highway. We have created awareness, and let me tell you that my office is working with UNFPA to design a program.
What is UNFPA?
United Nations Funds, United Nations UNFPA. Let me check the decimal.
Because the people need to know that
it's a United Nations agency. It's recently in town. They flag off one of their intervention in the state. So they had a program for Kogi State. So I went to Kogi State for a study tour, and I understand that these people were the people that programmed the intervention on the disaster management in Kogi State. So I wrote to them. So they came, my office and them were working on the program to provide a lasting solution on the flooding. Not just creating awareness. There are people who are on the water pumps that if we ask them to move, they don't move. This has been on since we came into office.
The awareness, is it on radio or TV?
The awareness is on radio, it's on papers, we are making sure that we go door to door, house by house, to create this awareness. Once this program is out, we'll make sure that we carry out this. We go to community by starting from Boko Road down to Agbo.
You're talking about Gadovilla area?
No, after Gadovilla.
Okay.
Down to Agbo.
Okay.
And we make sure that that Wadata don't have this issue of flooding. Yes. But Agbo and the opposite.
Good. This is the second time you are saying Wadata doesn't have this issue. Yeah, you have also pointed out what is done differently in Wadata. In the whole of the city, Honorable Kunde, there is only one major drainage which was recently constructed when the now SGF was the minister in representing us over there. You remember, you can recall the drainage system from welfare quarters down to Achusa to Idie area. That's the only drainage that we can boast about that is wide enough to gap a lot of water. What is happening with the aid that comes in? We have foreign aid. Even the organization you have mentioned here, I know it's about giving funds. What are we doing with the money that we cannot have? And then we have Ecological Trust Fund, which Benue State is one of the beneficiaries. In the last very many years, we have not seen even one single construction of a gutter or culvert that is coming from Ecological Trust Fund. What is happening with the monies that accrues from these agencies that I have mentioned here?
Well, I bet you that this has been happening in the past. And I told you earlier that His Excellency has directed that myself, is to make sure that I point out flash points and those areas that are blocking the free flow of water. The Commissioner of Works, Housing and Urban Development is going out. His Excellency is doing what no one has done to Benue State. And I told you that this is the last time that Benue will be complaining here of flooding.
So what are your recommendations?
My recommendation, Commissioner of Works,
Yes.
where I told you earlier that will replicate what is in Wadata. We're going to build.
We're looking up to
expand.
how many drainages. Let's have a picture of what you intend to do for the people.
You have if you are going to Conshisha,
Yes.
behind
Okay, that's
Is it
Conscious
Conscious
Street.
Street?
Conshisha Street.
Okay.
Before you access the banks there, there's a drainage there that is from former Intercontinental down to NKST.
Is it enough?
No, we must start somewhere.
So
This you don't know that by the time that we holistically bring out the plan on how to drain these areas, you know that every
I believe my
but
colleague
let's
is
see,
asking that
Honorable,
question because
oh.
Makurdi is a very popular city at the moment right now.
Honorable, what we are saying
And
specifically
the
is that
drainages are not enough.
you are talking about what you can do differently. We don't want to have what was in the past. You are
Replicated
talking about putting a stop to this issue of
do
flooding.
we create another whereas these are semi streams
Yes.
that when they over collect water, they expand because of the narrow.
Now,
The people has built and encroach in their
Now, does it
Honorable
mean, does it
Kunde,
mean
so
that we
Honorable
cannot
Kunde,
have
saying
the
that-
there is
waterways?
something that you're mixing up here. If His Excellency can construct 3 flyovers concurrently in the state, then you're talking about a small tributary that connects the river. Is it not doable? Can't we do a drainage system that can swallow all of this water? That's what we're looking at.
That is what I'm telling
So how
you.
many of them, and in which area specifically, so that the
I
people have a
start
picture?
pointing out the areas
Okay.
that have been affected by this, that we're going to make sure that they have a very big drainage that can accommodate this.
It's okay. So
And
that's
after
around
pointing out-
Conshisha Street
Yes.
area.
And then from like area mentioned,
Yes.
the mechanic side
In Yako.
in Yeko,
Okay.
down
To
to
Achusa.
Achusa,
Yes.
down to this drainage that you just mentioned that federal government has constructed,
Yes.
and then the other side of Achusa to Ghana Bay, down to again to this the drainage that you just mentioned, and cut across all this thing. We start at the Makurdi.
There is
And
another
then we
stream around Logo 2
Yes.
that has been causing a lot of flooding too.
I also noticed that when you are descending from Georgia Kumewe
Yes.
down to when you have the stream there, all of these are going to take care of.
Yes.
I am going now with we must go out, and what I don't like saying is speculating.
Okay.
We come out
Yes.
on a very a directive,
Yeah.
and we tell the Benue that this is what we are going to do to solve the issue of flooding at the state headquarters.
So approximately how many of the drainage systems do we intend to have, and what nature? Is it reinforced concrete, or is the normal you pick one stone and connect with some patches of cement? We want to have a picture of what we're expecting in Benue clearly.
That is what Commissioner of Works and Housing with his team will come out to
Okay.
say this is what we are going Benue State people are going to expect from us.
Okay.
Mine is to identify these flash areas and point at him, and he's going back with his team
It's okay.
to bring out a drastic drawing that will accommodate this and Benue State.
Okay.
Everybody will know that this is
Now,
what we're
finally,
going to
from
do.
me, Honorable Commissioner, what about having a task force to ensure that people would dump refuse into these waterways things are actually punished. Because the more we keep having, if you notice, like around Wurukum towards the market, around the market area, if you see that drainage that is adjacent to Living Faith, there's always a lot of debris inside. So why don't we have a task force instituted publicly so that everybody knows that there's a task force, and if you are caught, you're going to be punished. You're not going to be let loose. The law is actually going to deal with you.
Task force has been set up. Now, flooding as the area mentioned. The task force are going to sit and bring recommendation to the government, to His Excellency, that this is what we are going to do. For us to stop it, this is what we're going to do. And perhaps this might be one of the recommendations.
It's all right. And so now, finally, tell us, how much have we gotten from foreign aid so far? You have also mentioned one of the agencies here that's about dishing out monies for states to be able to have it. How much have you had so far? And then how much are we having from Ecological Trust Fund? We have not heard about this for so many years. And His Excellency is a transparent person. He wants everybody to know what's happening. How much are we having from Ecological Trust Fund project? And how much have you had so far to assist the masses who are being flooded here in the state?
Well, let me start with ecological funds.
Yes.
In as much as I call on federal government to use this opportunity to call on federal government to increase the ecological funds in Benue State. That is not domiciled in my ministry.
Okay.
So I want to be speaking in an informed decision.
That's
I don't want to be
So
speculating.
talk about the aid you have received.
The aid, let me tell Benue people and you what you don't know of NGOs. NGOs don't come only with funds. They come with intervention in different forms. Like the organizations I just mentioned here, they came in Benue to donate dignity kits to the people. And what they came in with 1,500 dignity kits.
What are dignity kits?
Kids, yes, kids.
Is it kits or kids?
Kits.
Okay,
Kits.
kits. Okay.
Yes.
What are they?
Some of these things are clothes. Some of these things are bags.
Okay.
Some of these things are women's estate. So they brought them and they will distribute in the communities. Today they are going to be distributing at Baka.
Okay.
Tomorrow they might be in Dautu and all of that. So if you start mentioning that how much
But financially they usually release some
intervention that comes.
the last time you came here, you also told us how much you received. It is not wrong for Benue to know.
There was an intervention
Yes.
in money.
Yes.
But this time it's not intervention.
So what are you expecting? Because
we are expecting more of them, because His Excellency are already paved way for them to come. This neighboring environment to them to come in. A lot are coming.
It's all right.
So when they come, we will make sure that we'll be transparent. We air out. We have a ministry. We even have a website where you can easily go there. Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs has a website.
It's all right.
You can go there and find out everything we are doing is being published.
It's all right. Thank you very much. We want to appreciate you. There is something you have been doing that we want to really appreciate you. You make yourself available for the Benue people to interact with you via this channel. We want to always encourage you to come up so that we can discuss these issues and the Benue people will get to know your activities.
Thank you.
Yes,
So
thank you. Very many thanks to you, Honorable Handwase Kunde, who is the Honorable Commissioner for Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management. We want to say thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
We hope to have you some other time soon.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And so we have to let you go at this point. We will be back shortly to take the papers, and thereafter we'll call it a wrap on the show. Thank you for staying with us thus far. Keep watching. Welcome back. This is Benue Television, and we are very glad to be back here with you on the newspaper segment. Let's first of all take briefly from the Nation newspaper here. We have banks face tough conditions in recapitalization drive. CBN targets strong banks capable of supporting governments and $1 trillion GDP by 2030. And federal government moves to advert shutdown of varsities. Our security plans by the Northwest governors. That's all coming from the Nation newspaper.
Now from the Daily Trust, underneath the newspaper masthead, we have Nigeria borrowed 7.71 trillion naira in first quarter. That's the Office of Debt Management, the Debt Management Office. This you find on page 19.
Yeah.
6 students drowned in Kaduna River after exams. It's a sad one. On page 23. Kenya's president drops tax hike after deadly unrest. This is on page 3. That's about the people talking. Now the lead story: Niger mining pit collapse. Niger mining pit collapse. Over 30 still trapped 3 weeks after. A rider, 4 mutilated bodies recovered in 2 days. Operation done manually, says the victim families. This you'll find on page 4 of Daily Trust.
And now turning attention to the Vanguard newspaper here, the banner headline says cholera. Federal government shopping for emergency vaccine. As Nigeria records 54 deaths, 1,579 cases in 32 states. And CDC, poor sanitation, contaminated water, reason for spread. Sanwo-Olu, display product essential information. Lagos government directs stores. Ojezua loses bid to disqualify Igbodalo. And of course, from pen to profit, federal government reaffirms commitment to free press. You can find that on page 9. And that's all coming from. Well, but let's take this one. Protesters want declaration of emergency in Rivers State as Fubara alleges protesters attempt to bomb hotel. That's all coming from the Vanguard newspaper.
From the leadership above the newspaper masthead, we have Nigeria sends 177 peacekeeping soldiers to Guinea-Bissau. This is on page 4. Page 8, I beg your pardon. And on page 29, you'll find Dangote refinery fire contained, operations ongoing. Now, the lead story: Orasanye report 4 months after federal government for drags on merger of MDAs. This is on page 4. Another rider, I beg your pardon, delay causing anxiety among civil servants. SGF head of service keep mum. And that's it from the leadership newspaper.
And this is where we have to say goodbye. Very many thanks for watching us live on Benue Television. We will be back tomorrow with another equally captivating edition of the program. Remember, Benue Television news is coming up at 9, so keep watching. My name is Japhet Waho.
Thank you for having a pleasant time with us on the show today. My name is Maureen Hill. Have a pleasant day.
Hello, here is the weather report for Thursday. Let's quickly look at the weather here in Benue State. We anticipate an overcast and misty sky in the morning and evening over parts of Makurdi, Utko, Boku, Kasinala, and clear periods during the day. Temperatures low around 24 degrees Celsius and high around 29 degrees Celsius. Humidity of 64% with 50% probability of precipitation. In the Federal Capital Territory, the high humidity will give rise to unsettled weather with possibility of thunderstorms in the early part of the day. Temperatures will vary between 22 degrees Celsius low and 29 degrees Celsius high. The sky will gradually turn overcast and change into a thunder weather in Ekiti State, with risk of rain spaced out in the afternoon and evening periods, with mist and fog at night hours. Temperatures low around 22 degrees Celsius and high around 28 degrees Celsius. That's it from here. Join us again for another weather report. I am Loretta Report.